Battlefield 6 is winning, and it's winning big, boys. People are hyped, people are excited. Everyone wants to see it, everyone loves it. Have you not seen the clips? Destructible terrain, planes, and other things. Oh yes, Battlefield is winning, Call of Duty is slowly bleeding out and dying. Nicki Minaj cannot twerk fast enough to save it. That's what everyone is saying. And currently, it doesn't look honestly that bad, if we ignore the fact that 50% of the voice lines in Battlefield 6 are made by women, which is strange and questionable in my honest opinion. But I digress, I digress. I am still firmly of the opinion that Battlefield 6 is going to be a disaster. Maybe it's not going to be a bad game, and hopefully it's not a bad game. You know, if the more we win and get good games, the better it is. But Battlefield 6 has set itself up for absolute disaster. By their own estimates, Battlefield 6 needs more people than there are in GTA, more people than there are in Fortnite, more people than there are in Roadblocks, more people that are in Call of Duty, and the last Battlefield games, well, last 4 Battlefield games combined. Battlefield 6 literally needs like 1 billion concurrent players to be profitable at this point, and that is never happening. And when a game is not profitable because they went all in on this. I mean, look at Battlefield 6. It kind of looks good. It kind of looks pretty good and fun, right? They went all in. They are hoping for a miracle here. And what happens if that miracle doesn't happen? Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Well, Nicki Minaj is also gonna start twerking in a different game, if you know what I'm saying, okay? You thought Cheech and Chong was a lame-ass thing to happen to Call of Duty? Well, guess where Cheech and Chong is gonna lame it up in the next game. Oh, yeah. The moment Battlefield 6 does not hit their player goals, which are impossible to hit, quite honestly, with their sales metrics and everything, it's not happening. It's never happening. They are gonna start to, well, use desperation moves. And that's gonna be stupid skins, probably a hell of a lot of locked things, locked behind progression, probably worse than honestly Star Wars Battlefront was. I can't wait when this game launches, and in 2 weeks how people just rise up against it because everything is bad. That is still my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But, I mean, that's what I think is going to happen.
In case you haven't been paying attention, EA really has been having a bad time. And for them, everything is riding on Battlefield 6 actually being good. And this is a game with a real tall order. It's got to reunite a fractured fan base, it's got to recover from a previous dud of a release in 2042, and it's also got to do the small little thing of keeping EA's executives and investors happy. All at the same time, which is tough, but so far, there are some good numbers. 500,000 wish lists in just a few days, millions of views. It really seems Battlefield 6's reveal has been perfect. But you know how things are in this channel. Behind the scenes, we've got reports that not all's great. Apparently developers are burning out, and one of the reasons why is insiders report that EA expects 100 million players, which is actually more than Battlefield has ever sold. And I don't just mean any given Battlefield, I mean all of them, combined, ever. So it seems...
Yes, again, I'm not joking. Their expectancies are unreasonably high.
That something doesn't quite add up. There's another fun thing going on. Vercel's V0 and every
oh,
no
look
code
at that. It's a no.
Guarantee. Okay, so before the Battlefield 6 reveal, everyone kinda knew what was coming, at least bar one major feature. Leaks from Battlefield Labs and data mining showed us that it was basically going to be the Battlefield reset. Now, there is a strong contrast here. At the very same time, Call of Duty is getting just memed on for these cel-shaded American dad skins. You got Beavis and Butthead cosmetics. What the hell is Call of Duty anymore? It's complete.
Well, it's Zoomer trash. Like Battlefield 6 is gonna be, okay? Listen, I'm not one to complain about COD or Battlefield or whatever you want, but the fact that 99.9% of kills in that game happened because someone was behind you and you had no idea, or someone's camping and you sprinted past them, It's kind of telling, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of not a great thing.
Completely deviated into the lands of slop. So, for Battlefield,
I don't remember the last time I saw a Call of Duty kill montage, but it was someone actually killing people who were fighting against them. It's always just killing a bunch of people really fast from behind and no one even knows it's happening. What a great game.
that's fairly good, right? Their big competitor is kind of on a downswing. And because of this, a feeling started to build. One where Warzone was losing its way, where Battlefield might be back. Of course, forget that Battlefield has literally never outsold Call of Duty. No. This was all about the vibes. But we still can't ignore 2042.
Vibes! Immaculate. Servers probably on fire. Developers quitting. Login screen pretty on point. That's right, boys. Yeah, the Epoch World of Warcraft server did teach me a lot of things.
Pointed at launch, and sure, it was in a way a miracle. That might sound insane, but basically, that game was built from the bones of an extraction shooter in a single year, and by a company that by that stage had completely been torn to shreds with massive turnover. They then rebuilt the game over the 3 preceding years. It's substantially better now, but that does not change the deep.
Bro, I'm sorry, is that a woman?
Does not change the deep and widely held perception of it being quite bad. And also, there's a fundamental problem. The community is fractured, right? It's split between 2 world wars, multiple modern games, console spin-offs, and wild tonal mismatches. What is Battlefield kind of depends on when you picked the franchise up. I starred in the likes of Vietnam, 1942, and Battlefield 2, so I'm very old and crusty. For a lot of other people, it's bad company. So you've got a divided base, bad PR, eroded brand value, which obviously meant the watchword on social media was no pre-orders. So the reveal happened.
Based through real, and I never pre-ordered anything. Again, you're pre-ordering things, you're just giving the publishers, the developers, the companies, everyone the green light to just say, hey, these people are stupid. We can make a verse game and they're still gonna buy it. Never pre-order anything.
500,000 Steam wishlists after the single-player trailer, and then top seller in Steam. So I suppose so much for the no pre-orders. People just wanted to fork over money for a game they couldn't play because pre-orders are a thing that people do. Anyway, add to that millions of views in the multiplayer trailer and a humongous marketing campaign that undoubtedly cost them millions. They had hundreds of creators broadcasting hype and praise. Do you know what? Did kind of work. But only because the
Yeah, and by the way, obviously, all the people saying that this is gonna be amazing. I played it in a silo under the desert, five miles away from Connecticut, Kansas, American city. Yeah, they're literally just lying to you. Okay, they got lathered up so hard. Luke Steffens got a little got jealous. It's not good.
Game basically just looked like a scientific formula of exactly what fans would want. And in a way, we shouldn't be surprised. They had 4 studios, right? 4 components of the overarching Battlefield studios that basically just made kind of what the leaks promised. So essentially, for this game, think Battlefield 4 reimagined. Add to that Battlefield 5's movement, which I must say was incredible, the tone of Battlefield 1 and the environmental depth of Battlefield 1, add to that more explosions, and you basically have something for everyone. And I mean everyone. This is a game that cannot fail. And even before the reveal, they were managing expectations here. They were promising play.
What are the system requirements for this? Because this thing is currently 55 gigs and it's going to go up to 80, which is strangely not a lot. You would expect this thing to be like 5 terabytes by modern day game dev standards, but it's not somehow. And, well, what are going to be the requirements for everything blowable, upable? Are we going to have to... Is this going to be a GTA 6 situation where we're going to have to all line up at Google's quantum computer to play this thing? Dibs!
Lists that were locking weapons to classes in the beta. They actually then confirmed that for full launch. They were doing everything to make players happy. Obviously so. EA can't afford...
Not gonna work. No one's gonna play... How... The there's no way they're gonna sell enough copies. It's just not a real thing.
Frustrated players. Not even one frustrated player, not when, reportedly, they need 100 million of them. So let's talk about if EA are sane and hinged. The 100 million number I've been talking about comes from Ars Technica's investigation into this, and honestly, it's kind of rough. Very much
100 million players, by the way, would be roughly the equivalent of having... How much would it be? Like, what? Would be roughly the equivalent of 5 to 10 million players day one on Steam launch. That would be the roughly sales figures there. And by the way, we have moved completely in the direction of hype buy, no hype don't buy situation. So every 99% of copies are going to be sold week one for this game. After 2 months, it's not going to sell a lot more copies. Games literally live and die now by pretty much month one. Especially games like Battlefield and whatnot. The chances that this is going to work out for them, non-existential. Again, and when it doesn't, they're going to have to do some crazy stuff. Also, I mean, there are a bunch of things that kind of seem woke about Battlefield 6, so, you know, that's a thing that also seems to be a real thing.
this omelet has involved some broken eggs. Basically, they have allegedly huge expectations, and those expectations have wreaked havoc. And I'll start with Ridgeline Games. It collapsed in 2024, and the cause was basically no oversight and impossible demands with not enough staff to pull off what they were tasked, and apparently this all led to the single-player campaign falling behind its schedule. Meanwhile, well, across everything, you just had long-ass hours and people burning out. You've got DICE veterans reportedly bristling under centralized EA leadership. You've got leadership that reportedly set an incredible target, to quote from the reporting. A lofty player target was set for Glacier, which is BF6's codename. 100 million players over a set period of time that
Glacier? Dude, that's Glacier. It's British.
included post-launch.
No wonder they're going extinct as a species.
Yes, that does seem kind of insane, and according to this report, the budget of this game is over $400 million. Which is obviously a shitload of money, but
that is not true. There is no way Battlefield 6 is not in the ballpark of $800 million developer costs, not counting marketing. There is no way something this massive was made for 400 milli. Well, actually, budget more than 400 back in 2023. So yeah, this could easily go up to 600 mil. This could potentially, again, if they really feel pressure, this can go up to 4 studios. That's a lot.
For EA, well, they want this to be a multi-billion-dollar tentpole. So let's add context to this. Apex Legends took 2 years to hit that 100 million player benchmark. Call of Duty Warzone was able to get that, but it took 13 months. And, you know, it was Call of Duty, so it's absolutely humongous, and it also had COVID momentum. So even with all that, it's
true, which effectively doubled all the revenues in gaming.
Still needed 13 months.
Sometimes even quadrupled and fedifoled it.
As for Battlefield, well, Battlefield has got 80 million lifetime sales. That's total. Oh, yes, sales are
that's
not players,
bad.
But still, 100 million, if true, is an absolutely wild target. It would almost require players from, like, loads of other shooters to just kind of abandon their games and all flock to Battlefield. And you know what? EA...
Okay, let's actually do some math and whatnot, right, boys? Because math's always, right? Let me get the good old calculator out here. Okay. So, what are we gonna be looking at? Okay, here's the calculator. Don't be afraid. It doesn't bite often. So, we are looking at this much of price to make. Wait, no, that's not right. That's only 4 milli. Whoops, that's 2 more. Okay. 400 million That is a lot of zeros. So, how much copies do we need to sell? Well, it's Battlefield, so we can easily estimate that there's going to be like an $80 price point, right? Or something like that. So, they would have to sell 5 million Copperinos. Wait, is this 5? Yes, this is 5 million. Isn't there some way to, like, add a comma here and a dot at the end? Whatever. It's 5 million copies. But wait, obviously, that's not exactly true now, is it? So, let's adjust this for real life. So we're gonna be selling Battlefield 6 for $80, right? Well, Steam is gonna be taking that 30%. So that means from that we multiply it by we multiplied it by 0.7 because that's 30%. From this, there's probably going to be some kind of other expenses, licensing, and all of that, which is going to be probably, a little bit more, something like 20% more. So that means that it's actually 80 times 0.5. So that's 40. So we had 5 million copies. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 million copies for 80. 5 million times 2 is 10 million copies need to be sold. Technically, by extremely, by the way, this is being extremely nice to fucking Battlefield with these estimates, by the way. I know a lot of people who actually know this stuff are saying, wait, you're wrong. Yes, I'm being extremely graceful to fucking Battlefield 6 currently. With a budget of 400 million, they have to sell 10 million copies to a break even. Questionable, but maybe possible. But again, what happens if that 400 million gets to 800 million? Well, that is a times 2. So that would be 20 million copies now need to be sold to break even, which is probably more. And, well, if it was 60, it would be 15 million. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 15 million. If it was 60, it would be 15 million they need to break even. It's not happening. It's probably not happening. These are some insanely hard numbers. These are some and again, this is development cost without marketing. Their marketing is probably already somewhere in the ballpark of 200 million or whatever. There's ads, there's streams, there's everything. So, yeah, Call of Duty is gonna go in extreme desperation mode when they don't hit their goals, because their goals are quite literally unreachably stupidly high.
His Ace card, the trick up their sleeve, is a feature I've not talked about yet that may just be the main way that they could do that. But as far as ifs go, that's an absolutely humongous if. And yes, they are of course planning a free-to-play Battle Royale to help out. I mean, it's not like the Battle Royale component of Splitgate 2 did that any good. Though I would at least say the Battlefield gameplay format does feel like...
But again, I don't believe that there's going to be destruction on this level, because, I mean, that's a little bit too much. Everything being destroyed, people's computers are going to literally catch on fire.
It fits Battle Royale a bit better. Now, understandably, this quote from EA staff speaking to Ars Technica feels appropriate, just given how insane these targets seem to be. Quote, "Nothing in our market research or our quality deliverables indicate that we would be anywhere near that." So that's EA kind of denying what's in the report. So what's the logic here? Well, maybe EA has got...
Oh, wow. I just Googled Battlefield 6 with females. So, Battlefield 6 bans players questioning the options to remove female voice lines, because, I mean, obviously. Oh, wow, that is insane, huh? Doctor Disaster speaking. Okay. Yeah, and there's gonna be a bunch of women, I think, in Battlefield 6 also, right? Like half of the operators, or whatever they call it, are gonna be women. And there's a bunch of like Chinese, Indonesian, good old black, strong, independent women. Oh my god, it's gonna be great. And there's that to a little bit of light, I guess. There's gonna be that to deal with. Again, this is gonna be the greatest Fugazi in the history of gaming, okay? And this is gonna be anticipated. People are gonna want it, and it's gonna just blow up so hard.
Some very long-term view of what post-launch is, and 100 million is something they're comfortable reaching in like 4 or 5 years. Or maybe they looked at Call of Duty Warzone and thought, yeah, sure, we can do that. Or maybe they simply set targets based on development costs, not realistic projections, and at a reported $400 million, holy shit, this one's pretty expensive. Now, that latter point would make sense in light of Dragon Age Veilguard. It had famously unrealistic expectations, seemingly from how large its budget was, but obviously I think the money pit that game was is more a result of, the years and years of development and multiple restarts than it is the actual amount of money that went into the final game that people were able to buy and play. Now, of course, these sources may just be reporting old goals to Ars Technica. I do believe and imagine that they would stand behind their reporting and that they do believe that, look, what these sources are telling them is true. But still, things can change, sources can be out of date. But the one thing I've not talked about thus far in this video is the new feature, or humongously upgraded feature, that could be Battlefield's single best chance at achieving anything near these insane goals. To be honest, as a longtime Battlefield fan, I did not expect any crazy what else's, and that's because most of them—
Oh my god. This was one of the things I was gonna mention as a red flag. The fact that Battlefield 6 is not only like, the game's gonna be amazing, but it's like, okay, we're gonna allow you to also make games. Something Midnight's Eye vibes, honestly. The fact that they're trying to sell this map builder as a big deal for Battlefield. Why would you need this? Why would you want this? Why? Why? That's kind of wild, okay? Maybe they're thinking that they're gonna be the new GTA 6 because GTA 6 is gonna require your ID, but I don't know, boys. I don't know. This does not look kosher to me. In any case, that was Billion News 10 out of 10. Bye.